Hello, many blessings and greetings to everyone in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time of the day to all of you, wherever you are. May you have a wonderful day ahead or a good night ahead. We are in Germany at least one time earlier still then it is supposed to be. That is due to the time change, and I think this is still the right time. And yeah, so as I see other people are joining in, I feel kind of reassured and more certain that I did it right with the time change. Last week I almost didn't, um, because I thought the time change in America was earlier than ours, but here we go. Another question and answer session from Anenja Vihara in Germany. This is Ayya Phalanyani speaking, and I think I was asked again to do the invitation of the devas, and I can do that for sure. But it's not. I'm still no excuses. So there we go. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra gachantu devata Sadhammang munirajasa Sunantu Saggamokharang Sage kame tarupe girishikaratate Chantalike Vimane Niperate Chagame Tarvanagane Gehavatumikete Umachayantu Deva Jalatalavisame Yakandhabanaga Ithanta Santikeyam Munivaravachanam Sadhavomi Sunantu Dhammasavanakalu Ayam Matanta Dhammasavanakalu Ayam Matanta Dhammasavanakalu Ayam Matanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, that was the invitation to the devas. We do invite the devas to listen to the Dhamma, and once they're there, since they're there and listened to the Dhamma teaching, maybe they do us a favor and protect us or help us wherever possible, if it's possible. And I thought while chanting, because I saw that Nirajan was writing from Nepal, and that's lovely. Maybe even in Nepal, the devas listened to the chanting and are now protecting and listening to the Dhamma all around the world. That is just for me a lovely thought. I cannot see devas and I cannot know whether they are there, but the Buddha and Arahants transmitted in teachings that they saw them and spoke with them. The Buddha spoke with them often during nighttime, and so I can just assume they might be there. However that is, we do have, again, quite a lot of questions. And we left off with a question. I do not remember anymore whose question that was, but partly I answered it already. And that is the question: how can we learn to let go of these repeating thoughts that are lingering on, sometimes even for years or for decades? And I was just visiting my mom, and I can confirm that this is so. My mom now is 60. No, I'm 60 something. My mom is 86. And we were talking about this actually, how the thoughts are coming back even when you have a feeling of guilt or resentment towards somebody. Especially these two things are coming back so repeatedly, even after decades, after many years, even when you did something wrong as a child, or somebody wronged you when you were a child. And it seems that the older you get, according to my mom, these things are getting stronger with age when you did not work with it. So therefore, I would say it's really important that we understand what to do. And we left off, I said, it's the normal practice, our normal daily meditation practice that will be helping us in this regard. And there are so many things that are in the way of our daily meditation practice that I think it's worthwhile thinking a moment or pondering about what can we do to really start doing the practice, to really be there every day and work with what we have. And I say that with what we have because until we are a stream enterer and have understood that there is no such thing as a real, eternal, strong, lasting self, we think of us as a self. So, and it is good to understand what this thing is. We have spoken about a lot of things and how our thinking and naming things makes the world around us. Now, we are living in this world that we created around us, that presents itself to us. And we need to understand that we are the ones who could transform that world. There are some external factors that we cannot change. But how we react towards things, that we definitely can do something with. With that, we can work. What kind of agents or factors cannot be changed? The political situation, for example, the still ongoing war in Ukraine or in many other countries. This is the thing I here now can do little but speak about peace, talk about how we can calm down, practice myself so that I keep my mind in a peaceful state, even if there are non-peaceful situations around me. So I have limited possibilities to work on various things. But when it comes to me, to my own mind states, to my attitude towards things, there I can do a lot. There I can do everything. Since we learned that we ourselves create the world around us by determining what is going on and how we name it and how we perceive it, and give these also names, the things, how we perceive it. And since we learn and condition our way of thinking and our way of feeling, we can there do something. And if we notice that our thinking is going in a way that we pick up every time the unwholesomeness from before, that we, after years and years, think about the same situation and not letting it rest, letting it go to peace, letting our mind be at peace around it. We spoke about Pahana, the letting go. This is so very much important. And this is also something that we do in our own mind. The letting go is happening within this Nama Rupa conglomerate, not outside of us. If I have grudges towards somebody or something, sure enough, I will think of it repeatedly. And once I start to think about things repeatedly, it will become a habit. It will continue. And my mind will go there. That's a very, very normal thing, because the mind works like that. It does want to do something, it wants to go somewhere all the time. And we crave for happiness, and we think that going to unwholesome places, going to grudges, going to anger, and repeat this anger might even make it go away. But this is a total misunderstanding. Not the more I think about something, the more it goes away. But the more I think about something, the deeper it engraves itself, it ingrains itself in my mind. So we should make sure that when there is something that is repeating itself after years and years, or month and month, and weeks, and we notice that really it is repeating itself again and again, then what we shall do is actively understanding. Here it is again. Here's the repetition number 1,000 or 1,000,000 or so. And understanding this, that it is again coming up and occupying my mind, that I could very well apply towards something different and towards something more wholesome. That would be understanding the hindrance, restlessness, and remorse. Much of the thinking that repeats itself is either wanting or not wanting, or is one of the hindrances. And very easily you can find the hindrance, restlessness, and remorse as the reason why you keep harboring those unwholesome and evil thoughts and even bring them up always again. So observing what is going on, looking at it. Do not ever try to push them away. Do not try to suppress these things. Do not try to make them go away, because this is giving them strength. What you could do is to relax and learn to accept that you are a person and you can think. Be grateful that you can think. Be very grateful that you have the capacity to think. And understand that the only thing that's missing is a training. So do the training of your mind. We come later to this, but for the understanding, here is a hindrance at work. Here are my kilesa at work, my defilements, my taints. To understand this thoroughly might help you to let go of it, because you understand how unwholesome that is. We do not perceive this usually as unwholesome when things occur repeatedly in our mind. But if it is an unwholesome thought about a quarrel, for example, that we have had many years ago, and we still have that grudge about the person, and we still think, I should have said this and that instead of, and when she said this, I should have done, and so on. So when we understand how this works, I think for me, for my mind, when I understand how things work, then it's half of the work done, and the rest is really sitting down, looking at it, accepting it, not reacting to it, and naming it. And that is the part we spoke about last week. Last week I said, well, you have to name it, but I thought this was a little bit brief as a comment. So this is a part of the work that we do to get rid of our repeating thoughts. And when you sit there in meditation, or you do walking meditation and walk there, when you walk, and you notice, oh, here it comes again, then you stand still. When you sit, you observe your breath. And best is so that nothing can slip your attention when you name things. You don't give them labels, because that is making your mind up about them and label them. But you make a mental notice that you have witnessed this, that you have witnessed or known this. For example, thinking or grudging or feeling remorse, feeling guilty. And then you say, name it, guilty, guilty, repeating, 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 thinking, thinking, thinking. And the more you get accustomed to naming things, and naming even the tiniest, slightest movements that you can notice that your sanya is picking up, then all these unwholesome things will clear themselves. They present themselves in front of you, and you will know them. And by knowing them, by understanding them, you will be able to let them go. It is not something that goes in one sitting. You need a lot of training. You need to do this a lot. But I can almost guarantee you that it does work. This kind of meditation where you name things, not for the sake of giving them a label and putting them in a drawer, but naming things in order to see them, to understand them, and to not let anything slip your attention. Then it will transform your mind, and you will see all the little processes that are leading towards those repeated thoughts, and you will be able to stop them. So there's a question from Niranjan. Tuladhar, can we blame Mahayana as Sangvidak, a group divider? Very interesting question. That is, of course, a matter of perspective. I don't believe that any Mahayanist would see themselves as somebody who splits the Sangha. So I just post the a group divider. I do believe you mean, Niranjan, somebody like Devadatta who split up Sangha, who is responsible for the schism in the Sangha. And some people might say so and think so. And I don't know exactly when it started, but there were meetings of the monks after the Buddha's passing away. So one meeting council was right shortly after the Buddha's death. One other was about, maybe, we can't be entirely sure, something between 200 and 300 years after the Buddha's passing away. That was in the time of King Ashoka. And then later there were more I don't know how to pronounce his meetings. Yes, but consuls. So in one of those, the monks could not come together in the discussion about certain rules, about the take on certain rules. And for sure, there was one or a group that said, well, we do it new, we do it as we want it, and formed a new group. And this group was definitely a group of people who were group dividers, who caused a schism in the Sangha. But the people who followed after that don't have that in mind. They do not follow Mahayana because they are different than the original teaching of the Buddha. And so I wouldn't want to say that all Mahayana people are Sangha dividers, group dividers. Cannot be, certainly not. But there must have been, at some point in time, a group of monks who divided the Sangha. And then the Sangha split in smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. And more so in the Mahayana tradition. So that makes me think, that doesn't make me sure about it, but it makes me think that most probably somebody of the group who formed what is now known as Mahayana was either a person or a group of schismatics who split the Sangha. And it feels like, because they're split up more often afterwards, in many, many little traditions and schools, much more than in the Theravadan tradition, that maybe they were then the more quarrelsome group with more Sangha dividers. But, I'm in time and space far away from this. So it's hard for me to know, to understand the circumstances, to know who really said, well, then we split. And I'm not the one who judges neither Mahayana nor Theravada nor anybody in this world. I try to just follow my heart. So blame, certainly not. We should not blame anyone, but we should learn to understand what is the Dhamma. We have to see for ourselves. We have to know for ourselves and learn and study and more importantly, practice the Buddha's teaching. And then not associate with those who we think or who we understand are Sangha dividers. I hope, Niranjan, this would be enough to your questions. To your question. We have more questions. The question here, that is also from last week, is how can we become tolerant towards those who disrespect the teachings or make fun of us? What did I write us? Who fun of those who are following the Buddha and his ways, right? So how can we be tolerant to those who disrespect the teachings? Well, this is this is an important thing, to be tolerant towards everybody, to be tolerant to even the evildoer. And for me, the Buddha is the greatest example. There were prostitutes, there were killers like Ambapali and Angulimala, and the Buddha, he just spoke with them like with normal people. He didn't address them as murderer. He didn't say, well, you're a prostitute, you shouldn't visit me or follow after me. He didn't even blame those people who tried to kill him, like the schismatic cousin Devadatta, or the people of the other sects that were trying to get him arrested for murder, although they murdered, to put the blame on him. So when I look at this, I understand I have not to blame anybody whatsoever. And even if this person is wronging me, is doing me wrong and harming me, even then, I am not supposed to blame them or get mad at them, get angry at them. This is a huge thing. And a lot of work. to a lot of work to stay calm and not get agitated when somebody is insulting you. Just imagine somebody is blaming you for a murder that you didn't do, but they themselves did it. And I think there was a case like that just recently in the US. So just imagine the wrongdoing and the turmoil that you might feel then. And to calm this down, well, you need at first a lot of patience, a lot of just knowing I'm breathing in and out. And I'm standing here or I'm sitting here and breathing, nothing else. And you need a lot of learning to get your mind together and bring it to one point, so that it does not go to that anger or that disgust and to all the things that it wants to go, that it wants to attend to. So basically, we need to learn not to attend to things, but to accept things as they are. Kanti Parami and Upekha Parami are of great help. Kanti Parami is something like the first aid kit that you have with you, but you need to have it prepared. You need to learn patience and to understand I don't get everything that I want when I want it, because that is the opposite of accepting and seeing things as they are. To think I can make the world that it follows my wishes, and that when I want peace, for example, and when I want nobody harms me, then it will be like that, is highly deluded. So we better train our mind by breathing in and breathing out and just observing it. And by just observing the world as it is, with all unwholesomeness that is coming towards us from the outside and that is coming from the inside as a reaction. And our work is to calm that down, to calm that urge down that we want to grasp those things around us, that we want to attend to those things around us. Like I gave this example, how reactive we are. When the telephone rings, we learn that we need to attend to it, and we answer. When an email comes, now you young people, you need to answer a WhatsApp or whatever email within a few minutes, otherwise the other person is disturbed and wondering what is happening and that you don't like them anymore. Or to everything that occurs, we think we need to react. Everything needs our attention, and that is not the case. We can very well decide, this is important, here somebody needs my help, and I will jump in, I will react. And that I cannot, I'm not qualified, I'm not in a position, so I don't attend to it. I don't react to this. So blaming other people for blaming us would be the very opposite of what we should do. But really developing this ease, developing the ability that we can be with things, that we can bear up with things that are not as we want them. I remember when I was young, I could go mad when things were not as I wanted them. I could just freak out. And that's not the way. But to calm down, to sit and learn to accept that somebody is blaming you, is making fun of you, is making fun of the Buddha. And I don't remember the number of the sutta, but there is a sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. I believe it's 109, but I'm not too sure. There is Punna, a monk who comes to the Buddha and says, I want to go to the West, to a region where he was born. And the Buddha said, but you know that in this region, the people are a little bit rough. You say, yes, I do know that. And the Buddha asked, what will you do when they insult you? And he said, well, then I'm happy that they don't beat me. And the Buddha asked, and when they beat you? The monk said, well, then I will be happy that they don't beat me with clods. And when they beat you with clods, then the monk said, I will be happy that they didn't attack me with knives and swords. And so it goes. And until the monk says, well, then I'm at least happy that they didn't kill me. And then the Buddha asked, and what if they kill you? And the monk was just happy to have the Dhamma. And that is, I think, the utmost khanti, the utmost, not equanimity, but patience, to just accept what the people do with you, what they say about the Buddha, what they say about you. If they laugh about you, if they beat you, you try to take it with one of the Brahma Viharas or with patience. One of the Brahma Viharas, you can read about this in Majjhima Nikaya number 21, Kaka Chupama Sutta. Read that sutta. It is, the last part is exactly about this. And there the Buddha clearly says, if we, on any insult, and even if we are attacked by people, if we do not react with loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, or empathy, or equanimity, then we are not practicing his teachings. So the way is clear. what to do in theory is clear. And we just need to imply this to our work, to our life, to our daily living, that we train our minds to train to develop an attitude that whatever I want to do, whatever occurs to me, whatever occurs to me, I would like to react out of one of the paramis or one of the Brahma Viharas. If that works straight away, I doubt. With me, it didn't. I made such a determination that I only want to react out of one of the Brahma Viharas to any unwholesome and evil thing that is happening to me. And I made that official. I told my teacher, and I offered a tray to my teacher and to the Buddha, and really made it official that I want to train that. It still doesn't work. But also, how can you react to that? Only with patience. So there is Richard asking, I've been practicing Kanti as my solution, but would appreciate further guidance from you. Richard, we do that next week. That is a perfect topic for next week. Okay? There are other also Richard, but before that, so many things you have written in the meantime. Here, there. Do the four great elements, earth, water, fire, air, actually exist as the material universe, or are they purely sensory qualities that do not exist beyond individual sensation? Very interesting question. As I understand the Buddha on this, things really exist. There is something, there is nama and rupa. So we spoke about that. And it's not that the rupa is all nama. So it's not that all material is just mind. I do not know what scientists say about that, and quantum scientists. And I do not understand, like in physics, how far you can break those things down into waves and energies and so. But fact is, there are things. And it's not just an individual sensation. And it's not just, compounded things like this ball pen. This is rupa. And here, this is a nama rupa. So this has material only, this ball pen. And this here, this conglomeration, has mind and metta, has name and form. So something does actually exist in the as material in the universe. But what exactly and how exactly that is, I'm not the one to tell you, but earth, water, fire, air, according to the Buddha, as far as I understand, do exist. It's not like just poof, just a magic show. It is like a magic show. But even in the magic show, there are components that do exist. Dear Ayya, noticing my breath has become natural for me. That is very beautiful. Naming is becoming very helpful and is becoming increasingly natural as well. Thanks to your kind guidance. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much, Deborah. Richard says, how can one find the right balance between Chanda and Tanha? Example, I've been working on a plan for the last 3 years through investing to return to London to improve my health, environment, and have access to monastery and the Sangha. It can get overwhelming at times trying to make the right financial moves now for the future. So far, so good. However, I do find myself craving for a better future than I do in London because the conditions are much better in comparison to the country I'm in now. Richard, I don't have any idea where you are now. I thought for some reason you are in the US, not too sure. Anyways, in regards to financial thing, I can't give you any hint. And I think it continues here. How can I best stay focused on my goals? The how, whilst enduring an unwholesome environment, not getting too attached to the outcome. This is really difficult, you know? Because the environment we're in does have an effect on us. And the more you are enduring an unwholesome environment, the more it kind of influences you. So you need a very, very strong practice. And I would put this goal, maybe not the financial goal, but the goal that you want to have a more wholesome future in London or wherever you should have that very much in mind and as an atitan, as a determination, because I do think that does help you to endure an unwholesome environment. How to best stay focused? The daily practice is crucial, is the one thing that you need to do. If there is something more important than this, that you are working on your goals that are wholesome, then that would be the right chanda. And I understand that the difference between chanda and tanha is really difficult to see, because the one is craving, and you crave, as I understand, for a better future. But the craving doesn't help you. That is the part that would ruin everything. So in any case, however your future goes, if you start working on just accepting things as they are and training your mind for wholesomeness, for how ever much wholesomeness as you can bring into your present moment, that would be important. Because if you get drained and influenced by your unwholesome environment, you lose your wholesome goals, you lose your wholesomeness. And it will totally go towards tanha. So I would not work different than for anything else. I would just be in the present moment. Name the present moment. And whenever you notice it's going towards unwholesomeness, going to wanting or aversion, then make sure that you calm down your heart, that you calm down your unwholesome thoughts of aversion or craving, and get back into the present moment without wanting and without aversion, without doubt that you can make it. I think it continues still. How can I best stay focused on my goals whilst in a current unwholesome? That is basically the same. And I think, yes, practicing Kanti is a very important thing for that fact. And in St. Lucia. That's a dream for many people, I would think. So, yeah, the practice of Kanti Parami, I think that would really be a very good topic for next time, because this requires maybe more than 5 minutes. I'll just make a note already. Because I'm still forgetting everything. Talk about development of Kanti. Okay, that will be one of the questions or the topic of next week. There are still more questions in the baskets. We have a basket, a question basket, or a basket for questions. So if you feel you have an urgent question, you can send an email to I think it's like I just need to check whether I write the email address correctly. Let's see, missing a dot. There you are. If you have any questions, you can write to this email address. And we talk about them next week or the week after. For now, I wish you a wonderful day or a good night. Be well, everyone. And be blessed. Bye bye. Okay. Yes. Okay, now, bye.